Okay, hi and welcome to this introductory abacus lesson number 1. We are going to look at the construction of the abacus, and we're going to learn how to initialize it and do some basic number counting before we jump into some simple addition and subtraction problems to get us going. So the first thing is that we need to learn how the abacus is constructed. So in this case, I have a 17 rod abacus, which is also called a soroban. This is a Japanese version of the abacus where I have 5 beads on each of the rods. I have 1 bead above the bar and 4 beads below the bar. So the bead above the bar is called a heavenly bead, and it has a value of 5, and the 4 beads below the bar are called earthly beads, and each has a value of 1. And this bar in the middle is called a reckoning bar. So for a bead to be counted, it must be touching the bar. And so when a bead is touching the bar, then we are counting that bead. So the first thing we need to do is learn how to hold the abacus, and we do that by, with our left hand on the left side, we hold the abacus so it doesn't shake or move, and we can keep the abacus stable as we do a calculation. And then we use our right hand using our thumb and index finger to input numbers to do our calculations. So to set up the abacus, we initially just tilt the abacus on a 45-degree angle, lay it down, and then we clear all the heavenly beads away. So this puts a value of 0 on each of the rods, and each rod is able to represent one base 10-digit number, and that basically means that each rod can represent a number from 0 to 9. So let's go ahead and look at how we represent the other 8 numbers, 1 through 9. And I'm going to go ahead and choose this middle rod for this demonstration, but everything we talk about here applies equally well to all of the other rods. So if I want to represent the number 1, I simply move a single earthly bead to the reckoning bar, and so that is the number 1. If I want the number 2, I move 2 earthly beads to the reckoning bar. And the number 3 would be 3 earthly beads, and finally the number 4 would be 4 earthly beads. So that's very straightforward. Now for the number 5, all I have to do is pull down the heavenly bead to the reckoning bar, and that is the number 5. Now it gets a little more interesting. For the number 6, I'm going to need this heavenly bead, and I'm going to need 1 of the earthly beads, and I'm going to pinch them with my index and thumb at the same time. So that's the number 6 on the abacus. And then if I want the number 7, I need the heavenly bead and then 2 of the earthly beads. So I grab all 3 of those, and that's the number 7. And then number 8 is the heavenly bead plus 3 earthly beads. And then finally the number 9, you just grab all of the beads. Okay, so there we have the numbers 0 through 9. So let's go ahead through a little finger work here, because learning to use the abacus is also training yourself to use your thumb and index finger to move the beads in a specific way, and it's just for efficiency so that you can build speed over time. So when we add earthly beads, we're always going to use our thumb. So the thumb's job is to move the earthly beads to the bar. and then the index finger will always take them away. And then for the heavenly bead, the index finger will bring it to the bar and also remove it from the bar. So let's look at a simple number counting exercise we can do by bringing 1 to the bar and then clearing it, bringing 2 to the bar and clearing it, 3 to the bar, clearing it, 4 to the bar and clearing it, 5 and clearing it, and then pinch 6, clear it, pinch 7 and clear it, 8, clear it, and then finally 9 and clear it. And you can imagine, if you practice that a little bit, you can certainly gain quite a bit of speed. So one other concept to understand about the abacus is that each of the rods represents 1 digit of a base 10 number. So if I want the number 1, I simply put 1 bead on 1 rod. If I want the number 11, I would place a 1 on 2 of these rods. So the number 11 being digits 1 and 1. And if I wanted the number 111, I would move to a 3rd rod. So as we can see, each rod holds 1 place value of a base 10 number. So that's about it for the basic setup of the abacus. And now let's go ahead and take a look at performing some simple calculations. Okay, so here I've now logged on to our rightlobemath.com online abacus training program, and let's go ahead and just jump into this quiz module here, where we can go ahead and practice a couple problems based on what we discussed here in our introduction video. So this problem says first we're going to add 2 to the soroban. So I'm going to take my thumb and place 2 on my abacus, and then it says to add 1 more. Okay, I just move 1 more earthly bead to the reckoning bar, and then it says to subtract 3. So I'll take my index finger and pull 3 earthly beads away, and then finally it says to add 5, and that gives me a final answer of 5. So I'm just gonna put 5 in my answer box, and we'll go to the next problem. So this problem says to add 1. Okay, so I put 1 on the reckoning bar, and then to add 5 I pull the heavenly bead down, and then we're going to add 2 more, and finally we're going to subtract 1, and that gives me a final answer of 7. So here we can quickly see that we can do very basic, simple addition and subtraction problems with just some really basic abacus knowledge. So let's go ahead and do one final one. So first we're going to add 2, and then we're going to add 5, bringing that heavenly bead down. And then we'll add 2 more, and finally subtract 3 for a final answer of 6. So I think that gives you some idea of how we could get started, and I'm just going to go ahead and stop this quiz here, which will take us to a results page that shows us that we answered 3 problems and we got 3 of them correct, and it also gives us some other detailed information about the individual problems. So here I'm gonna return to my main practice page, and I just wanted to show everybody that here on rightlobemath.com we have a complete Abacus training program that includes the Abacus training. It also includes a full module of mental training where we teach kids to do all the calculations in their head. And it's amazing what students can learn very quickly. And we do that in an Anzan method, which is a standard Q&A method. We use this flash and audible methods, which present the problems sequentially, and in the audible case, the numbers are read to the students. And we also have some facts programs here where students can, learn their multiplication facts, which certainly will help them with higher levels of soroban training, where they can do advanced levels of multiplication and division. So we have a program. First, our program is divided into two parts. One is our skill training, where we teach you all of the 6 skills that you need to master addition and subtraction. And then we teach more advanced levels, where there are 10 levels of advanced soroban and mental calculation training. And we introduce multiplication, division, decimals, negative numbers, and all that fun stuff. But just as an example, here on level 5, you can get an idea of what some content would look like for a level 5 user doing addition and subtraction. Here they're doing 7 numbers, 3 and 4 digit numbers. And I can give you just a quick look at maybe what some multiplication and division would look like at level 5. So here's some multiplication. So you can get an idea of what kind of numbers kids are multiplying on level 5, 3 by 3 numbers. So we have a complete program here, and it's all online, very accessible, and you can get access to the entire program for just a nominal $29 a year. We think it's a great value, and we hope that you'll give it a try. So thanks for watching, and see you next time.